What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to our player ratings here on Anfield Agenda after Liverpool leave Stamford Bridge with a thoroughly dull 0-0 draw. A point that on the surface of it may look like a decent point, but it's really of no use to us. We needed to show some ambition today. We needed to go to Stamford Bridge and leave with 3 points. I said beforehand nothing else is acceptable, and I'm not going to change that. But we didn't deserve it. Let me be honest about that. We absolutely did not deserve to leave there with 3 points. But I'm going to go through and do what I always do. Give you my thoughts on each player's performance, give them a score out of 10, and of course ask you guys to play along and let me know your thoughts in the comment section. We can talk about the starting 11, we can talk about how Jurgen Klopp shook things up, but it doesn't seem to matter what players he puts in. It's just subpar performance after subpar performance, and there aren't many of those Liverpool players again today who can leave Stamford Bridge with their heads held high. So before I get stuck into it and start doing the scores, again I want to just draw your attention to the fact that we are being proudly brought to you today with thanks to our friends at Circl. The football sweepstakes game where the winner really is decided by events that happen live on the pitch, and every moment counts. Today we were lucky enough to give away £150 to our winner Mark. If you want to join us for future circles such as the game against Arsenal at the weekend, scan the QR code in the top right hand corner of this video or go to the link in the description. You need to be 18 years or over and a UK resident to play along with us. It is a gambling product, so it's important to remember the begambleaware.org is there if you need any tools for responsible gambling. And if you'd like to get yourself £5 in free bets, when you deposit and place your first £5 in bets, use the referral code anfieldagenda, all one word, on sign up, and that way when you do what I said, Circl will give you that £5 in free bets for you to spend at your discretion. Right, look, let's get stuck into it. So Alisson, again, back to his best today. Only for him we would have lost that game, and there was a couple of others as well. The centre backs I thought did really well, but Alisson today making himself big on a few occasions. Yes, we got fortunate with the ricochet coming back off Kai Havertz's hands, but that big man there had to make the first save, and he did. So well done, Ali. Going to give him a 7 today. In my opinion, he is the best goalkeeper in the world right now. So thank you once again, Alisson, for at least keeping us in the game. Moving on to this man, I didn't think he took his opportunity today, in all honesty. It was a chance for him to put some pressure on Andy Robertson, a chance for him to maybe even put himself in the shop window for the summer. But I don't think he did much in the game today that we can be happy with. Some of his crosses, particularly the corners, were just shocking, and I didn't think he was good enough. It's as simple as that. He didn't show what we wanted to see from him today. So yeah, I'm going to give him a score of 5. I don't think it was a good enough performance from Costas. A very likeable guy, somebody we want to do well, but I just don't think he did today. That being said, I'm moving into the centre-back positions now, and this is where things start to get a bit rosier with my ratings anyway. I thought Joel Matip did quite well today when he came in. Obviously, it was a huge knock to hear the Verge. Well, maybe it wasn't. Maybe some people feel it wasn't a knock to hear the Verge was out with an illness. But Joel stepped in, and I think himself and Ibu did a very good job today. A couple of important blocks as well, particularly in the first half when Chelsea were really pushing for a goal. So again, I say well done to Joel Matip. I'm going to give Joel a score of 7 today. I thought he was very good, and only for our centre backs we would have been dead and buried in the game. Ibu Kanade was, in my opinion, our man of the match today. I thought that he played really well. Some of his passing can be worked on out of defence at times, but ultimately, again, like Joel Matip, put his body on the line, got some blocks in. And there are aspects of his game that needs to be worked on, but for a young centre-back, I think he's coming on leaps and bounds. For me, I think he was the best player today, so I'm going to give him my man of the match and a score of 8 out of 10 today. He looks like a future defensive leader for me. Again, I'd love to know your thoughts on Ibu in the comment section. Moving on now to Joe Gomez, a player who we've been fairly critical of here on the channel, but a player that we always try to give an honest assessment of. And I thought today, sometimes Joe Gomez made a little few errors, but ultimately, I was very happy with his performance at right back. He showed some good recovery pace at times to keeping up with Ben Chilwell, who was bombing down that left side. Got a few important tackles in. Yes, there were a few little bits and pieces with Joe's game you'd like to see him work on, but I can't lie, I thought he played well today. And our defence was certainly our greatest asset in the game today. So well done to Joe Gomez. Going to give Joe a score of 7. And again, I hope you agree, but let me know your thoughts. Fabinho, I think I'm getting to the point now where I can say he's done. There was one point in that game today where somebody jogged past them, and it was like a fast jog, not a sprint. And Fabinho didn't even up his pace. Didn't look like he had another gear to go through, and just ambled his way back. he's done. He's done at the top level for me. He's showing no signs that he's consistently able to get back to where he was. And I know it's a big call. And I know it's a big statement to make in the summer when we've got a lot of players we need to move on and midfielders we need to bring in. But I'm putting it out there, if an offer came in for Fabinho anywhere north of 35 million pound, I would be taking it and I would be looking to refresh. Even if you're bringing in Palhinha, you might say to me, Craig, he's 26, 27, but he's still somebody who's at least showing the energy that Fabinho's clearly lacking at the minute. So for me, it was a horrendous performance again from Fabinho. Going to give him a 5 for his performance today in midfield. Looking forward to reading your thoughts on it though. Curtis Jones, our best midfielder today, and I challenge anybody to say otherwise. And look, again, I'm critical of Curtis Jones, but I'm always fair in my assessments. Today, he was proactive, he was looking to get forward, he was looking to at least make things happen. He wasn't afraid to drop back into our own half to come and look for the ball, and he wasn't hiding out there on the pitch. Very surprised to see him taken off and Henderson left on. Surprised is an understatement. Angry is how I felt to see Jones taken off. Because if you're trying to give players a fair shout, if you're trying to pick them based on their merits and their performances, he deserved to stay on that pitch today. And Jurgen Klopp needs to give us some serious answers as to why he left Hendo on and dragged Jones off. So for me, well done Curtis Jones. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 because I thought he was our best midfielder. And again, not his biggest fan, still unsure if he'll make it, but on that performance today, he was our best midfielder. Hendo, again, like Fabinho, done, finished, no place from in the starting 11 anymore. And I would question even in the squad. Because what is he bringing these days? Honestly, he was blocking his own players' passes today. His touch was letting him down and the ball was gone out of play. I just don't see what he brings anymore. And I don't think we can go into next season with a Thiago, a Milner and a Henderson in and around their midfield. 3 players who were starting to become more injury prone. 3 players, particularly in Henderson and Fabinho, who were showing their age. And Milner as well, of course, 38 years of age. I mean, it's like Dad's army out there. So for me, I don't say this lightly because I've been very proud of Jordan Henderson at the club. He's been a great leader. He's a wonderful fella. But, you know, you don't get picked based on being a nice lad. You get picked on your performances on the pitch. And this season, it just hasn't been good enough from our captain. I'm giving Hendo a 4 today. That was really, really poor for me. Darwin. Again, I will ask, what on earth was Jurgen Klopp thinking bringing off Darwin Núñez? The one player in our front line who actually looked like he cared. The one player who was actually giving Chelsea something to think about. Who was running, who was closing down, who was showing a bit of fight, determination and effort. No, Klopp drags him off again today and leaves on Firmino and Jota. For what? Jota particularly finished the game. For what? How? He was terrible. Terrible. And if we really wanted to win that game, he should have been left on the pitch. I don't understand it from Klopp. It was madness, in my opinion, to take Darwin off. I'm going to give Darwin a score of 7 today. I thought he was probably just behind Ibrahim Konate for me in the man of the match show, if you're to give Liverpool player man of the match, that is. Bobby Firmino, look, not going to go in too much here on Bobby because we know he's leaving us at the end of the season and I'm a huge Bobby fan and have greatly enjoyed his time at the club. But his touches today were horrendous. He's too slow paced. He just wasn't able to add anything to the attack. He wasn't even able to be the link-up man that he used to be. It was just an abject performance from Bobby. And I say that with a very heavy heart. So Bobby Firmino, I'm going to give him a 6 today and I hope his minutes are managed before he leaves at the end of the season because I don't want people to have a bad view of Bobby before he leaves based off a few poor performances. I'd much rather remember him for the good times and wish him all the best in the next chapter of his career, but it's just not good enough, let's be honest. And I seem to be saying this quite a lot, but there's so many questionable players right now at the minute that I would wonder if they should even have a future at the club. Diogo Jota. What I'm about to say is a bit contradictory, right? Because I think he's an incredibly intelligent and astute football player. But unfortunately, his body isn't able to keep up with his brain. And today, again, kept turning into challenges, kept giving the ball away. Just wasn't able to do what we needed from him. There was one occasion where he got the ball centrally today. We had 3 players on the left-hand side. One of them with 2 Chelsea players right beside him. And 2 of them coming up a little bit behind play. And rather than Jota playing the ball into that wide open space to allow players to come onto it, he tries to tread through the Hail Mary pass which Chelsea intercepted and cleared. And it was just like that all day today for Diogo. So not good enough. 5 for Diogo. And look, I'm not at a point where I'm questioning his future with the club, but I'm going to be honest, there was plenty of people in our chat who were very unimpressed with what they seen from Diogo. And I know he's coming back from a long time out, but how long are we going to give him to get back up to speed a bit? And being able to pass the ball 4 or 5 yards has got nothing to do with the fact that you were out for a while. It's just, I don't know, it seemed lazy from Jota today. Sometimes he was waiting for the ball to drop, and as he was waiting, a Chelsea player get a foot in and clear it. I just didn't like what I seen today from Jota. He was getting a bit mouthy towards the ref as well. That just wasn't a good performance. Mo Salah. So, how to look at this? So, he made the changes, Klopp. He, at the wrong time, by the way, I feel. If you're going to not play Mohamed Salah, I feel like you should have not played him 6 or 7 weeks ago. But Mo went to the international break with Egypt, scored some goals, has scored some goals for us before the international break, finally started to show like he was maybe getting back to himself, and he was dropped today, or rested or rotated. And I don't think it was to do with Ramadan, because, you know, we only had to go, I think, 20 minutes before there was that break in play and the players could take on some liquid and some energy capsules and stuff. So I don't know if that was the case, but I don't think it was. And again, I'm unsure as to why Klopp picked this game for the one where he didn't play Mo. Now, when he came onto the pitch, we didn't get him involved in the game whatsoever. I mean, he didn't do anything, but I don't really think it was his fault. We weren't able to get out of our own half for long periods, and Mo was just left stranded. So again, I find it very hard to give him a score, because I think he was non-existent when he came on. So with that in mind, I'm going to give him a 5, but I don't think it was particularly poor from him. I just felt like we didn't get the ball anywhere near him. Andy Robertson, again, like Costas, wasn't good enough today. Didn't have as long on the pitch, obviously, as Costas. But I have a bit more understanding with Robbo, because I do think Robbo's been pretty good this season overall. Certainly the best of our fullbacks. So not going to be overly critical of Robbo today. He will have better days ahead. For me, maybe a potential Liverpool captain of the future. And if we're to look to change something at left back, I think we'd maybe be better off looking to move Costas on than trying to replace the older Andy Robertson, because I think Robbo still has 4 or 5 years left in those legs. So I'm going to give Robertson a score of 6 today. But again, it's hard to give a score when he was only on for a bit and didn't do too much. James Milner. I don't want to be disrespectful, because I have nothing but admiration for the man. He is an example to young footballers, and I seem to say the same stuff every week, but his days at the top are over. What does he bring? Why weren't we giving Carvalho minutes off the bench? James Milner will give you guile and effort, and he's as honest as the day is long, but he's not going to unlock a defence. He's not going to be a difference maker, and Carvalho must be wondering why on earth he moved from Fulham. I don't understand some of these thought processes from Jurgen Klopp, and I don't understand why he wants to keep Milner around for another year. If it's in a coaching role, I understand it, brilliant, but you can't take up squad places. You can't pay out that much money to somebody who is going to give us nothing other than a body that will be able to see out games or come in and shore things up for 10 or 15 minutes. That's not 140 grand a week to me. So I would like to see James Milner leave in the summer with a huge thank you, a massive respect, because he deserves it. But ultimately, it's naturally the right time for it to come to an end. This insistence Klopp has on wanting to keep him around, I don't get. So Milner today, I'm going to give him a 5 as well, because I didn't think he did that when he came on. And Cody Gakpo, the player I was most surprised to see not start today. He didn't play all the games of the international break with Holland because he was unwell. Then he came back and I thought he played okay for us. And he's starting to get to grips with our system. I think, I don't get it. I don't get why he didn't play Cody Gakpo today, and I don't get again why it took us so long to bring him off the bench. But we didn't manage to do much when he came on, and I don't know if that's down to the fact that Chelsea were just penning us in a little bit, if we looked a bit more disjointed. But all of these changes, they're not giving us any fluidity. And again, I'm not sure why he didn't start Gakpo today. I would have. Let's give Gakpo a score out of 6, because yeah, look, it's hard to give scores to attacking players who came on and really weren't involved in the game. So look, that brings us to an end of the player ratings. But if I want to give the manager a rating today out of 10, I'm going to give Klopp a 5. Because once again, I question his substitutions, both in timing, the impact, and in the personnel that he chose. So many questions today about this squad. Is Van Dijk really injured? Where on earth was Harvey Elliott? What is going on? Why is Carvalho being frozen out? And why are players like Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain or James Milner or people who clearly have no future with the club getting minutes when we know what they give? We know they're not going to change things. We were too passive today, and we never looked like we wanted to leave Stamford Bridge with 3 points. We more looked like we didn't want to get beat. And that's not good enough at this point. We need to roll the dice and we need to be more proactive. So look, that is it from me. Over to you guys now. Let me know your thoughts. And again, I look forward to catching up with you soon. Much love. Bye-bye.